Okay guys, we're gonna learn how to shape coffin today. You should already have your nails all prepped and on your trainer hand, and I'm gonna show you guys two methods to use, either with a straight edge nail clipper is my preferred method, or scissors. So I'm gonna show you with the straight edge clippers first. So you're gonna want to start where their nail bed is and just taper it in and clip it downward. And then I have to hold mine weird for the other side, but I'm gonna start there, taper it in. Like, can you guys see? And I'd rather you guys cut less of your tip than more of it, just because once you clip it, like, you're not going to be able to fix it once it's clipped. So less is more, because you can always file away and make it narrower, but you can't really add anything to it. So once we have our shape like that, we're going to take our hand file and we're going to come at a side angle here like this, and we want to line the file up against the nail tip so it's touching all the way through. Now if this little part is hanging out and you see there's a slight gap and I'm not touching it all the way, you're just gonna file that till you meet up with the sides, and just do a little at a time. So I usually do 2 to 3 passes over there. And then I'll come to the other side, and I still have a little bit of tip hanging off my thing, so I'm just going to get that first. And then I'm going to line my file up. Make sure you guys can see. I'm going to try to hold it with my other hand. I'm left-handed, so I don't normally file with my other hand. But we're going to line that up and file straight. We don't want to curve it because that's going to make your tip get curved. We want to keep it as straight as possible. And while you're filing the tip, make sure that you're pulling your client's skin back so you're not going to cut them with your file. And then just going to shape it up like that. And that looks pretty good to me at the moment. If you do need to file underneath, file kind of straight. Don't bend it any which way, because then you're gonna have that curve that we talked about. Alright, now this is the trainer hand, so you're not actually gonna have to file all crazy on your client's hand like that, but then I have some like leftover stuff here, and it's okay if the tip isn't perfect right now, because once you lay the acrylic, you're going to be able to get a better shape. I'm also going to turn the client's hands over once I apply the tips and cut them and shape them, just to make sure that they're all looking straight. Sorry, I'm moving along. And as you can see, this is a straight on their tip. It's perfectly straight. And depending on how short your client's getting them, like these are pretty long. If your client was getting shorter nails, the end is going to be wider. It's not going to be as elegant like this, just because they're not getting that much, length, which I think people have a hard time understanding, is that if they want short nails but they want coffin, there's not going to be very much coffin to work with, because you're cutting off the length for like the box part of the coffin. So as you can see, if we cut that off, they would have a nice shape, but the coffin would be a little wide. If they wanted it a little skinnier, you could go in and narrow it a little bit more, but I wouldn't narrow it too much, because then you're going to kind of lose it's just going to look boxy. So that's the first method. And then the second method with the scissors, I only suggest you do this if you're very careful and you've already been using scissors for a while, just because you can potentially clip their skin if you're not paying attention. So same way, except we're not going to come from the top, we're going to come from the bottom, but I'm going to line it up to where my scissors meet the edge of that tip, and I'm going to cut that off. And then I'm going to do the other side. Hopefully you guys can see. Sorry, the lighting's still not very good. I had sunshine and then it went away, so you're just gonna take off those little bits. And then same thing, we're gonna file it into shape. So take the file, line it straight up. And if you have something hanging off over here, you're just going to file it till you meet the edge of this one. And then I have this line from cutting it, but I'm not going to worry about the line because once you lay acrylic, you're not going to be able to see the line. And then this one, I have a lot of hangover right here. So I'm going to file under there first. And then I'll file the shape. Okay. And then we just want to keep it even shape. And to me, it looks like I might need to file this side a little bit more. And I'm gonna check it because with scissors I feel like it's a little harder to keep the shape straight. So like this one looks kind of straighter to me than curving in. So you can either try to file it this way, holding the nail tip and keeping your file at an angle, or you can look at it, see where you want to take off more. So I just want to kind of go in a slight bit more on this side. So I'll have my client turn her hand back over, and then I'm just going to file this in. Only a few strokes though, because you don't want to take off too much because you're gonna make it all wonky looking. So, and I see I have like a little furry there. Oh, she's coming apart. Okay. So yeah. So there's that coffin shape. Of course, like on a real person. So let me tell you about these two shapes and why they're a little different. Your coffin shape will change a little bit depending on the person's nail beds. Usually the middle finger is a little wider. And we did two different methods, so just the way it's cut. So depending on which method you're wanting, this is more of a ballerina coffin, just because it's more tapered in. This is more of a traditional coffin, but we'll go in a little more and make it even with the other one. Oh my goodness, sorry guys, I had to sneeze. Okay. Oh, she fell off. Okay, so those are gonna be the coffin shapes. If you guys have any questions on the methods that I used, or you didn't quite get it, let me know. I'll help you guys out. Send me your coffin shapes. I'd like to see them. But yeah, those are the coffin shapes. Like I said, this one's a little bit more of a ballerina coffin. It's more skinny, more narrow. Still a coffin, they just sometimes want it more narrow. And this one's more of a traditional coffin. And then, like I mentioned, if they got them shorter, then they wouldn't be as narrow out here. So those are the coffin shapes. I prefer like this coffin shape over this one because I don't really care for ballerina, but either one, they both work well.